So I know it's been a while since I have uploaded. My life has gotten a little crazy, for lack of a better term. So I thought today we're going to be going over the June lucky bag, opening up the new July lucky bag, and I thought I would just do it like get ready with me style with the products that I liked the most out of the June bag that I'm going to keep. And that way I can also chit chat with you a little bit and tell you, you know, a little update on me. Because it's all about me. Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Melissa. So I'm going to get started with some of my favorite products from the July bag. I'm going to go ahead and start with this little mini Professional. I've forgotten how much I like this little primer. You know, I'm not a big primer girl, but man, it just mattifies and smooths out that T-zone area where I tend to have some large pores, and for that I am grateful. So while that's setting, I think I'll put a little eye primer on too. So I'm definitely keeping this and finishing this. I would really consider buying a full size of this, you know, at some point in my life. I'm not a big primer girl. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. Here's a little eye primer that I'm trying to use up. It's the Lorac. Because I had 4 or 5 of these. I gave one to a friend, and I'm just trying to use one up during this period, which may or may not happen. We'll see. So how have you been? So last week, here's what's been going on with me. I've been involved with doing a lot of babysitting, and I also started doing a new freelance job. So that has taken up way more of my time than I thought it would. So yeah, I started a new freelance job. I'm not sure how long it's going to run, but for now it's keeping me kind of busy, and I just got behind. So I didn't have anything in the can to edit, and I didn't have time to film. Bottom line, that's the story. So thank you for being so patient. That was just a whole thing. I just could not swing it. So let's go ahead and talk about this little mask that was also in the June bag. This is a little Sephora clay mask, and I've used this probably 5 times, 6 times in total, because I know I've used it once before it went into the lucky bag, and I still have this much left. That's like half. And the reason why I point this out is it says 4 uses, and there is like at least 10 uses in here. But, so this is kind of a cool mask. This is a yellow clay mask, and it doesn't dry down like some clay masks do where it really dries out. It just pulls like impurities out of your face. I really like this after I've been down by the pool and I've been wearing sunscreen all day and sweaty and cakey from sunscreen. I feel like this really draws out the impurities, and it's nice. So I'm enjoying this. I'm definitely going to use it up. This is going into my use it bin, or actually I'm going to put it back into the bathroom and put it on the sink so I finish using it. I'll probably finish it in July, I'm thinking. So let's go ahead and get started with foundation. I had the Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation in there, and I was really on the fence about this because it seemed like it might not be the right color. That seems to be the theme of all the foundations that I have. But actually, this is a great color for me, and I loved the way it went on. So I am definitely keeping this. So I'm just going to dot it around my face a little bit. Do you guys find that during the summer you don't wear as much foundation as you do other times of the year? I find that is definitely true for me. So this is a little mini complexion brush from Sephora. I think it was part of like a rouge special. It's nice. It's very soft, and it's not so thick that I feel like it just eats up all the foundation. I think it does a pretty nice job of spreading it. So I like it for that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little extra here where I have that little problem area. and here where I tend to have some redness. So the other thing that contributed to me like getting so far behind is so many family obligations. Like, oh my gosh. Let's see, I have, I live in the Washington, D.C. area. Most of my family is north of New York City or in New Jersey. And let's see, I had a baby shower this spring. I had a bridal shower. We went up to help Bill's mother clean up the cemetery plots. That's something they do every year, which is really quite sweet, and I like that. It's a tradition that they've been doing, that they've carried on from their parents. And, his mother's 93. She can't do all that by herself anymore. So we make that trip up there and do that. And then we also had his aunt turned 100 years old, so we, of course, went up for that. And then, so that's everything I've done this spring so far, and I managed to keep up pretty well. But what's coming up is like crazy town. So my niece is getting married on the 14th of July, and then we have our annual party. So the 14th of July is a Sunday, and that's up in New Jersey. And then the very next Saturday, so not like the same weekend, but in the same week, is our big annual party, which is the Lobster Bash. We're going to go up and go back down. It's a whole thing. So then what else? Oh, and then after that, we have another wedding in Annapolis. That's a local thing, but it's the following weekend. Oh boy. And then there's this big thing that we do every year with our friends. Let me actually put some makeup on while we're talking. I'm using this sleek palette, the Oh So Special sleek palette that looks like this. The other palette I decided I was going to get rid of. It looks like this. It's the cream tea. Not that there was really anything wrong with this. It's just, I didn't like the colors in here so much. I have a lot of neutral palettes, and I thought the colors in here interest me a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put like a little transition shade down and then a crease shade. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to use this as a transition, then this is a crease, and this pinky, dark pinky one on my lid. So I was telling you, every year, the men folk in my friend group, they go camping up in Watkins Glen, New York, and they attend the road race up here, the Watkins Glen International, is that what it is? It's a NASCAR race. I don't know much about that sport. And frankly, I don't think my husband does either. He mostly just goes to hang out with the boys. But the boys have been doing this for many years. They have a blast. It's men only. They go camping. And then, so a few years ago, the women decided, why are we just staying home? We should do something while the men are doing something. Sounds fair to me. So in the past, we've gone to the beach. One of my friends has like a beach house. Another friend had a house up on the lake. It'll come to me. And when it comes to me, I'm just going to blurt it out. They've since sold that house, but we went up there a few times and used their lake house. And this year, we are going to spend it in Annapolis. So my one friend's mother lives there, and she is a recent widow and has, invited us to come up and spend it with her in her house. She's a sweetheart. So something a little bit different this year, but that's coming up like the first weekend in September. It's a whole thing. We are probably have, traveled almost every weekend. It's been a little crazy. So all good stuff, but it just takes up a lot of time. The time where I, if I can't film during the week, like I can't film during the week now that I have this temporary assignment, it's the weekends. And because those have been so busy, I haven't really had time to get caught up or even ahead. So I do have some time this weekend coming up, and I'm hoping to film enough to get me through the next few weeks. So keeping my fingers crossed. Editing I can do at night. Filming is not great at night, so I just need that extra light. I'm not always into it at night. I have filmed at night, but yeah. Boy, I'm just rambling on right now. So these shadows, I think they really blend beautifully. I have another look that I did with this palette that I did record. So I'll include some pictures of that while I'm talking. So I was like, yeah, this is a fun little drugstore palette. I like this. So now I don't like every shade in this palette. There's some shades that are a little too warm for me, but there's enough here that I would like to keep it. But I definitely, recommend the sleek eyeshadows. If you haven't tried them and you're looking for an affordable drugstore option, I think that in the US they're available through the Ulta website, and I actually think they're in drugstores like in Europe. Don't quote me on that, but that's I'm pretty sure. If that's not correct, someone should correct me down below. I think that's a really soft, pretty look. I really like it. So I did have a concealer in this bag. It's the Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Concealer. It's really too heavy to use under my eyes. So I am going to keep this because I really liked being able to use it to make my own BB cream. I just use my favorite sunscreen. I put a little bit of this in there. It shears it out enough, but gives a little bit of color and coverage. So I am going to hold on to this. It is pretty old, but it's still in good shape. And we'll see how I feel by the end of the year. If I haven't used it up this summer, then I might go ahead and move it out. That's going to be a whole nother issue when I get to the end of the year. Ooh, baby. So I haven't really been using a lot of concealer lately. What should I put under there? I think I'm going to go ahead and just use a little bit of this Tatcha, the Pearl. It's an under light and eye treatment. That's basically like a tinted little moisturizer that you can use under your eyes. And I like to just put a little dab under here and spread it around with a really soft little eyeshadow brush. I think that works pretty good. I don't love this product, to be very honest. I know it wasn't in my lucky bag, but I'll just chat with you about it. I had such high expectations for it, and sometimes it goes on really patchy. I am trying to use it because I have it and I spent money on it. I don't know whether it's just me or the texture under my eyes is changing. Who only knows? So I'm going to go ahead and finish up my eyes, and I'm going to use this dark plum color because I think in the other look I use this. I like using this under my eyes, it's almost like a liner. But I think today, if I remember correctly, last time I'd used that, today I'm going to use this dark plum on a little smudgy brush and just hit the corner of my eyes. So the mascara that was in this bag is from number 7, the Stay Perfect Long Lasting Volume. It's like a tubing mascara, and it has, let's go ahead and show this. It has a little, very small, rubber spiky brush. And I've only used it a few times because I don't super love it. I don't super hate it either. So I don't know. Let me put some on. I don't feel like it holds the curl very well. I always heard that tubing mascaras are easier to remove, but they are somewhat waterproof or long lasting, and could be a substitute for waterproof mascara. So they're a little bit easier on your lashes. So I know I bought a bunch of different ones, and this is the first one that's come up in my lucky bag. I'm probably going to continue to use it a little bit more, but I can't say that I totally recommend it because I think it's just okay. So I might hold it and recap all the tubing mascaras that end up coming up at the end. And I don't love these rubber brushes because I think they hurt. It has not knocked out my favorite waterproof mascara, which is the L'Oreal Butterfly that I talk about all the time. But you know, I am open to trying new ones. All right, let's move along to the cheeks. So one of the things that was in this lucky bag were two different multiple sticks from Bite Beauty. And I think I talked about this at the time. I was like, yeah, neither one of them is a super great color for me to use as a monotone look on my face. Like, I didn't really like any of them. You know, what worked on my lips didn't necessarily work on my cheeks or my eyes, and vice versa. What I just put on was Cashew, and I've been using this like almost like a contour. So then I'm just taking this little stippling brush and blending that around, and I quite like this way. And then on the cheeks, I would put the other color, which is Gelato, which is a little bit more of like a mauve-y shade. And I would just draw that on. It's a little bit pinker. This looks dead on my lips. It's off. I just don't like them anywhere but on my cheeks, to be very honest. And just kind of blend these two together. So I think these really, really look so pretty together. So pretty. Just really was like, wow, I should have been using these all along. They're really quite lovely on the cheeks. And if you like them on, like, there's other shades, so if this is something you've used and you like it, share what shades you liked, because someone else might be interested in that. But you know, I'm not a big fan of multiple multiple sticks, because I don't ever feel like the texture is right anywhere. It's not usually right for the eyes or the lips, or if it's good for the cheeks, it's... I'm going to go ahead and grab this little highlighter from a previous bag. It's the Buxom Divine Goddess, because I want to put a little bit of highlighter on. There was a highlighter in this bag. There was this one from Becca, but it has a little bit of a gold undertone, and I don't think it favors my skin tone. So I am getting rid of that. But for this video today, I'm just gonna dive back and put a little highlighter on. I'm really liking these liquid and cream highlighters. That's so pretty. All right, and then there were a whole bunch of lipsticks in there. So the one that I was so excited that came up in this bag was the Estee Lauder Pure Color Envy lipstick in Intense Nude. Such a beautiful formula, such a great wearable color. I love this color so much. The other two lipsticks that I'm going to hold on to are both Revlon lipsticks. Revlon has a great formula, super affordable from the drugstore. And the two shades here are Cherries in the Snow and Black Cherry. So Cherries in the Snow is a very vibrant, almost like a fuchsia pink. That looks like that. I think I'm going to wear that a lot in upcoming summer days. And then Black Cherry it looks scary dark, but it's a little bit sheer and it's more plum, a little bit more of a winter shade, I think. But I really like the formula here. I really like both these colors, so I am gonna hold on to them and keep them for future use. And that's it. That's everything I'm keeping from the bag. I'll quickly run through what I'm getting rid of. The first up is this Pixie lip palette, which I used it primarily as a cheek palette, but they are getting pretty dry. And I have to say, a lot of people don't like lip palettes, but there's something nice about them. Like if you have a desk job and you don't want to carry a lot of different lip products back and forth, if you have a nice little lip palette and you can just reach for it and use that to touch up during the day, and you'll always have something appropriate. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend this one for the lips because I thought it was a little dry, but I loved it on the cheeks. So I am getting rid of the other sleek eyeshadow palette, which is Cream Tea 601. I talked about this a little bit earlier in the video. Then the other eye products I'm getting rid of, this little Smashbox Shutter Speed palette. I did use this a couple of times, and actually, here's the story with this. These are great eyeshadows, and this is still viable, but these colors are so similar. I just don't like this color trio anymore. Glaze In eyeshadow from Butter London. This is in the shade Moonshine. It's kind of moussey. It is pretty, but it is like way too glittery for me. And so I didn't care for it. You put it on and then you end up with like really random glitters like above in your crease color. So I didn't love this, and I decided I'm going to move that out. And then I had another one of these ColourPop Super Shock Shadows. Pretty color, super dry. So, you know, these are nice eyeshadows. I'm just going to say, if you get these, get like 1 or 2 and really try and use them quickly. Otherwise, you're going to end up just throwing them away. I talked about this highlighter. I had another lipstick from Bite, and this was in the shade Rosewood. I just don't really like the Bite lipsticks that much. That's just me. This liquid lipstick from Kat Von D is a super pretty color, but I've had it so long, I'm like, I'm just going to get rid of it. Same with the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Demolition. It's pretty dry. I have another brown pencil that's in a little bit better shape. I really don't need to. And then this lipstick from Maybelline. It's the Matte Touch of Spice, which I know is a really popular shade, but it just is a little too warm for me. I just don't really care for it on me. So I'm not keeping anything that I don't really love. That's the bottom line there. So I think that's everything from the June bag. I know I moved pretty quickly. Let's move on to the July bag. Let's clean off this hand because I might want to do some swatching. So I've also been doing a little bit more babysitting this time of year. So the other grandma generally does most of the babysitting. That's something she wanted to do. She's, retired, and she handles most of the babysitting for my son and his wife and my cute little granddaughter. However, she travels, she does things, and so I'm kind of like backup for her, and we'll watch the baby when she's out of town or when there's conflicts. And that's been great. I've loved every second of that. But she tends to do more of that during the summer, so filling that in. I've been really, really busy. Okay, let's get into the new bag. So this is for July, and let's see what's in here. Okay, so there's another mask. This one is from K Bella. It's the anti-aging goji berry mask. There's this little eyeshadow palette from Tarte. It was a limited edition. It's the Golden Days and Sultry Nights. And actually, this is a really cute little palette. I think it's going to be great for summer. I love this little turquoise color. This is kind of old. I'll probably use it maybe through the summer and then move it along. And here's another Tarte face palette. This is Be Your Own Tartist, and this has a blush in it too. I remember this one. I liked this one. And I don't know if you can tell, there's a fair amount of wear in some of these shadows. This will probably be handy to travel with since I'm doing so much traveling. Okay, I have this new formula from Wet n Wild, the Silent Treatment palette. They, re-released these in a slightly different format. This was one of my favorites from the old formula, so I'll go ahead and break that out a little bit. Let's see, there is a smoothing primer from Makeup Forever. Remember when they released these? This is the one I picked up, and there's quite a bit in here. I think it feels similar to the Professional, so I'll have to see what I think about it on my face. It's very silicone-y, smoothing. Oh, I have another mask in here. This is from SK2. It's a sheet mask, and this was pricey, so I'm going to use that ASAP. Let's see, what is my foundation? The Maracuja Miracle Foundation, and this is in the shade Light. So I think this is kind of thin because it has one of these little pump dropper things. And, oh, I like this shade. Okay, let's see. I have 2 more eyeshadows, singles. This is another Sephora single in Outrageous Metallic Purple. So these were pretty. Look how pretty that is. And then I have this one from NYX in the shade Flamingo. It's this one. And, oh, this blush from NARS in Lovejoy. Man, I have tried to pan this multiple times. This is a pretty blush. I think I just had to set it aside because I was like a little tired of it. All right, I have a Dr. Jart BB cream in this gold tube. I love this, so yes, I'll definitely be using that up. And I have a double-ended eye pencil from Urban Decay. I don't know if you remember when they released these, they had one that kind of coordinated with each palette. And this is the one for the original Naked palette, I believe. This actually feels pretty good. There they are down there. Then I have 2 products from Fenty. These are the contour stick and the highlighting stick. These are relatively new, and I think these are going to be fun. I don't know if you can see the highlighting stick down there. This is a great cool contour in the shade Amber. I think that's, yeah, Amber. And these can also be used on the eyes. I've used these on the eyes. I like these little sticks from Fenty. I use them a lot. I actually really like the one that they call a concealer. This is in Linen. Look how much of that I've used up. That's a lot for a stick product, and I like this as a concealer if you're well moisturized under your eyes, but I also sometimes use it as a face product, you know, when I'm traveling and I don't want to bring too many multiples. Okay, now we're into lipstick territory. Let's talk about lip products. The first one is this Black Honey from Clinique. This is like a cult favorite. Looks super scary in here. It's awesome. It's super sheer and just gives your lips a nice, beautiful color. So that's how much is left. I've probably used at least half of this. That's awesome. I have this from Maybelline, their Superstay Matte Ink in the shade. I love this shade. It's like beautiful. It is a great, like, put it on and you're good for the night. It stays on. It wears off beautifully. Then I have from MAC, I have Rebel, a really pretty, like, berry kind of shade. This little sample from Giorgio Armani. Wow. It's a pretty little nude. So that's where we are on the July Lucky Bag. Now, since we're halfway through the year, I have a couple of different videos planned to kind of just recap how far I've come. Let's take a quick look at what I'm discarding. If you're all wondering, I have a big old bag in that closet where I've been putting my, I'm gonna get rid of or I'm gonna throw out products. And I think I'm also going to do a video on what products I've used up that have been in the Lucky Bag series. So I have a couple things planned kind of around this whole series. So I publish videos every Saturday morning. I'll include a link to last week's video right up here in case you missed it. And also a link to this Lucky Bag series. I have them in a playlist in case you want to take a look at what else I have been using and what I've discarded so you can get all caught up on the series.